Welcome to Salvage Motorsports. Look at Rod. Oh, you can't even see you.
That's perfect.
Why don't you pop on out over here? All right.
There I am.
There you are. All right, today we're gonna do at lib or a little freestyle action. A lot of cleaning needs to get done at the shop. Welcome to the one and only Salvage Motorsports. You are here with none other than the one and only Rodney. Say what up, dude.
You're a good announcer, bro.
Thanks.
How'd you get so good at it?
Cheers, brother. All right, how'd I get so good at it?
Yeah.
I guess I talk a lot.
You got that good announcer voice.
See?
Like you're about to call the Detroit Red Wings onto the ice.
He's got a hat trick. Oh my gosh, unbelievable.
Sweep that out real quick. You throw the one there. Yeah. But yeah, that's why I got those for, is move those heavy-ass transmissions around.
All right, we're making some space here because as you can see,
I've got too much junk.
there is a lot of parts that need to get moved around. So this is Alex.
I'm a lawyer.
So I offered to rather clean or film today. We're doing some filming.
Hey, you want
Rodney brought up a good point. Let's talk about how things got started, or actually,
How did Alex get into him first?
how'd you guys get into
Mine's
the
a long story.
Yeah?
It's on how I got
I'll
into
give him
him.
the mic.
Junior year high school, I saw him on like Auto Trader, and I'm like, what are these things? And I noticed the 99s were cool, and we finally buy one in 2004. I couldn't afford the 99, so bought a front wheel drive 94.
What were the 99s back then in 04? Like, what did they cost, like a VR4?
If it was just, I wasn't following the VR4 prices, but I know some SLs were like 10 grand.
So you got a non-turbo back in the day?
I got a non-turbo was my first one.
So did I. It was awful. It was terrible, dude. It was terrible, dude.
I got an RT, 91 RT.
Then I put a bunch of money into it.
Was yours an automatic or a manual?
Mine was an automatic, and
Oh,
I
mine too.
manual swapped it, put an LSD in it, and then I'm like, I could have bought a VR4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My transmission went bad immediately.
Oh, mine actually was still good, and then I left it outside and got rained on, then it got ruined.
Ugh.
So then what'd you move on to after?
A 94 twin turbo, 3000 GT.
Took me years to get a twin turbo.
Yeah.
I'd, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years before I got a twin turbo.
Yeah.
I went
that was
I went automatic non-turbo to a manual non-turbo, finally to a VR4.
That's kind of how I went too, except my automatic turned to a manual, but it was probably 4 or 5 years before I got the turbo too.
Yeah, it's a progression.
Yeah, and then once you get the turbo, you move on to hoarding parts.
Yeah, I've hit master level at hoarding parts.
You have.
I've hit my achievement level
I probably
100.
only had a couple hundred square foot. You've got thousands of square feet, so yeah, you definitely. If you had to guess how many twin turbos you have altogether,
Oh, 30?
how many would you say are running?
None.
I thought it was going to be at least 3 or 4.
Oh well, so the one blue
Any of
stealth,
them. Ones you can start up.
the one blue stealth twin turbo runs.
Yeah. What about your red one, your track car?
No, injectors are clogged.
Oh.
It will crank. Does that count?
That counts. That counts. Most of there. So 95% completed. How many?
Yeah, it's 2 hours away from running.
Yeah. The yellow
I've
one.
got a non-turbo that starts. The yellow one will start.
We'll start. Yeah.
So I got a non-turbo that will start. So that's 4
4.
cars. That's 4 out of 30, maybe.
Do the math. What percentage is that? I don't know.
5%.
Yeah.
7% maybe.
All right, guys, today we're cooking with Alex.
Yeah. Formerly the tile guy.
Yeah.
Now I'm a stock associate.
Yeah. He's our new elite employee.
Question of the hour, Rodney. How did you get into all the things that you do here?
Almost the same way. I found a buddy that had one. I was never even into cars. I was into video games and playing roller hockey really, and my buddy picked me up in one of those. I'm like, what is this? He's like, oh, it's this car. I'm
What
like,
was it?
It was a Mitsubishi 3000. It was non-turbo, pearl white. It was really nice.
Beautiful looking, right?
Yeah. Well, let me tell the whole story.
Okay.
Let me go through the whole story because when I saw his, I'm like, I'm going to get one of these cars. He's like, no, you won't. I'm like, yeah, well, I'll get one. And I ended up getting one because my parents were like, what do you want for graduation, for graduating high school? And I'm like, the only thing I would want would be that car. They're like, oh, you don't want a graduation party or a class ring or any of that? I'm like, I don't want any of that dumb stuff. I'm like, I really want that car. So they got me one down in Ohio. It was $5 grand for a non-turbo automatic. Terrible.
How many miles did it have?
That's
Probably like 70 or 80,000, I think.
That's about so. That was
And it wasn't even an SL. It was cloth interior.
2000. Yeah, that was mine.
Yeah. So mine was 05.
Yeah.
I bought it.
Okay. 04.
04?
Summer 04.
Oh man, we almost got them at the same time. I could have used your transmission back then. Because so on the way home from buying it in Ohio, fried the transmission.
'Cause summer
And it was
05
not even, it was nothing I even did. It had to just been like, I don't know, on its way out already, and the guy probably knew it, you know.
Summer '05, my automatic trans was out and still good.
Oh yeah, I could have used it. We paid like an outrageous amount of money to have that trans rebuilt, like another $5,000.
Oh my.
And it was never the same after we had it rebuilt. It was never the same.
10 G's, you could have bought a sweet VR4 back then.
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted, but my parents wouldn't get me one because, you know, sports car too fast. Yeah, but anyways, on how I got to buying them all was my buddy's car broke down. The white one that I saw, jumped time. His serpentine belt got sucked into the timing, and it jumped time. And I was having problems with my car. I got ripped off at a couple shops. And that's when I'm like, I'm just going to start working on this thing myself and figure it out myself. And then his car went down, and he's like, I'm just selling it. I'm like, oh, well, how much do you want for it? He's like, give me $1,500. I'm like, I'm in. I'll take it. And then I used a couple parts for mine, and I had all these parts left over. And I'm like, I don't know what to do here.
So that was it.
Yeah.
These cars was your first parts hoard.
Basically, yeah. And then after that point, whenever I could find one on a deal, I'm just like, I can always use more parts. Never not have enough parts for these cars because they're always breaking. Then you buy a building, and now you got 5,000 square foot full of Mitsubishi 3000 GT parts that just sit around.
You were just wrenching in your driveway for a bit, right?
Yeah, neighbors hated it, dude. They'd call the cops on me. But yeah, they used to call the cops on me when I was wrenching. I was changing a sending or gas tank or a sending unit. Cops came up, they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, working on my car. They're like, all right, well, we just had a call. We just had to come check it out. They're like, have a good day. I'm like, okay, thanks. Because I'm not breaking any laws working on my own car, dude. I'm using hand ratchets. Back in the day, I was using I don't even use an air compressor now. I use all electric tools.
So from one car to 100.
Yeah, from one car to 100.
Wow.
The Rodney Shepin story.
10 years in the making.
Yeah.
You can do it, guys. You can do it.
Yeah, you too can be hoarding.
One at a time. You have a lot of blocks laying around. You should rebuild them.
Oh yeah, you mean all the engines that are toasted with spun bearings?
Dude, we should have did that with Don 5 years ago when we sent him that one.
Yeah.
You would have like 5 rebuilt by now.
Yeah, that would have been the plan. Because what a lot of guys are doing now is they're using the non-turbo blocks and they're shoving twin turbo internals in them because they're getting so hard to come by.
So you get one off eBay and it's like got
yeah,
a
the ones that
non-turbo,
are, yeah.
lower end.
What's the disadvantage of that?
Don't even have any main bolts, right? It's just got the cradle bolts.
Oh yeah, just a single row of cradle bolts on each side, yeah.
That's it.
And a thin cradle.
You guys
Yeah.
look at the camera once in a while.
And no oil squirters. I mean, the cradle bolts are the main bolts. aren't they?
Yeah. Well, in the 4-bolt it is because they're doubled up, you know. But non-turbo, like you said, has a smaller cradle.
Is the compression different on the pistons?
Not if you swap them out. They probably, if you're getting a turbo rebuild with a non-turbo lower end, they probably swapped it to lower compression pistons.
But what they're doing on eBay is they're advertising it as a twin turbo.
Long block?
Yeah. So you get it.
That's deceiving.
Yeah, it's super deceiving because you get it, you pull the. But the
Well,
people who don't know the difference, they're like, I had a guy bring me one.
Does it have an oil pan on it when you buy it?
Yeah.
To hide that fact?
Yeah.
So yeah, you give it to a shop, they throw it in, you'll never know.
Yeah, you'll never know. And it's a twin turbo oil pan too. That's what really gets you. Wow. Is you think it's okay, and it already has the oil pump on it, so you don't got to mess with it. You know, it's super deceiving what they're doing. And I had one guy that had a problem. One of my buddies, a shop got it for him and put it in his car, and then he's like, "Hey, my car's overheating really bad." And I drained the oil, chocolate milk came out. And he's not a car guy, so he's like,
Is that good?
I'm like, oh my, because my reaction was like, oh my God. Because it was like straight chocolate milk. I'm like, oh God. And he's like, what's wrong?
I thought that was performance oil.
I'm like, dude, you got chocolate milk coming out of this. He's like, what does that mean? Popped a head gasket. It's not good.
Your
He's
coolant
like,
mixed with your engine oil.
Yeah, he's like, how do you know that? I'm like, well, because of the color of your oil coming out. We'll dig deeper. I pull the oil pan off, and he's actually got forged internals in there, believe it or not, because they had the block built, right? They had Weisco pistons and rods, but in a non-turbo block. Why they did that, I don't know.
And they sold it as a rebuild.
Yeah, to him, yeah. And he had no idea, because he's not a car guy and he didn't do it himself. Yeah. And then, the funny thing is I ended up explaining to the mechanic why it wasn't what it was, because he's not experienced in these cars. He works on everything, right? He's like, oh, that didn't pop a head gasket. The oil cooler failed. I'm like, this ain't like a regular car. I'm like, coolant ain't running through these oil
Yeah,
coolers
yeah.
on this. He's like, yeah, they do. I'm like, no, they don't.
Yeah, you know, they do have oil and water-cooled turbos. Can those fail to where that would mix?
Probably.
Yeah.
You know, it's just seals. How do you know it's not a twin turbo block? And I had one hanging from the hoist. I'm like, well, come here. I'll show you. You know? So I dropped the pan on one hanging from the hoist. Okay, you see, because his was on a lift over there.
yeah.
I'm like, you see how he's got just this row of bolts? He's like, yeah. I'm like, come here and look at this one. I'm like, look at how these are all doubled up. I'm like, this is a 4-bolt main. I'm like, now if you had a 2-bolt main, they'd be coming off the girdle onto the sides
On
into
the
the
side,
block.
yeah. The first gens have that.
Yeah,
right?
or no, 91 and 92 and a half. 93, they changed it to a 4-bolt main. But yeah, and he's like, he just was quiet after that because I proved him wrong, you know? He's like, oh. I'm like, yeah.
So basically those engines, when the bottom end is different like that, they're not made to take the power of a
No, it's
turbo.
probably good for a stock rebuild, stock boost, and that's it.
Any good hold up to 8 pounds?
Probably.
Oil squirters are different, right? Or
Or they're just absent. There's none, so you get less piston cooling.
so all around a lot of negatives.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and if you buy one and you get tricked like that, even if they offer free return shipping, you're out shipping there and back. I mean, you're still going to be out. Yeah, you're still going to be out.
And I believe the company doing it's in Cali on eBay, but just make sure you're pulling your oil pan before you install the engine in the car. Double check and make sure it's actually a twin turbo block and not a non-turbo one that they're putting in there on you. So we'll have to get some rebuilt and throw them on eBay or something for people to buy. That way they're actually twin turbo ones out there. Throw them out there in the community and get them out there. Just send them out to the machine shop. Put them together. He built the one that's in my car. Nice. That was his. Yeah. That was all his setup that we took and threw mine. And then I bought another one of his setups that we still got to do. I told him we can build it together and put it on YouTube. Sweet. It's at 3.5 with, you know more of the setup than I do. I don't even
got
TD05 turbos.
Oliver rods, stock crank, pinned girdle, CP pistons. I think they're 9.5 to 1 compression. And there's something like they're a TD05. It's just a modified 16G turbo setup.
Yeah, you said it would push what, 8?
I think it would push 8. It's got billet wheels and good turbines. I can't remember what the turbines are.
That thing will move, dude.
Is that going to go in the gray beast?
The Fiji Blue.
Yeah, the Fiji Blue at my house.
Rodney's
The
Fiji
gray
Blue.
one's his out there.
Oh,
That gray one. Yeah, that one's his.
I'll never build one again. That powerful. Just run it stock. Dude, the only way you can do it with so much shit breaking, you got to be like Rodney. You got to have like 10 transfer cases on backup.
You've got to have a whole warehouse full of parts. More of them broken automatic transmissions around here. That one's an all-wheel drive one, but I think that one's good.
All-wheel drive automatic?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Came out of that 3.5. You remember that 3.5 car I bought?
Oh yeah, that was a
With the
weird one.
swaps?
That was it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to do with it.
Did you try? Didn't that start when you got it or no?
It started and moved, yeah.
And you.
It just ran like crap.
Oh.
But they didn't do the swap right. They didn't do the all-wheel drive swap right.
Oh.
I still got the frame of it.
Oh, that's right. It was all cobbled together weird.
Yeah.
So who out there automatic swapped the 3.5 liter and did a terrible job down in Texas? We want to know.
Don't say
Yeah.
it that way.
Yeah. Too bad we're calling them out.
Yeah, we're calling them out.
We're calling them out,
No,
dude.
there's no reason to sugarcoat it.
We'll post a picture of the car from Copart. I think I still got pictures.
It was
of
a terrible build.
Was this your car?
Yeah.
Oh no, it was still a good deal.
Oh, was it?
I stole that car. Nobody knew what was underneath that
Oh,
hood.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
looked at it and I knew immediately.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm getting this car.
Yeah.
I'm like 100%. I'm buying this car. I think I bought it for like,
It was like $3,000, wasn't it?
yeah, I think I was all in $3,000 shipped to the shop. And it had a big turbo kit. It had like an IPS kit, I believe, on it.
Sell that.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And I was gonna use the automatic trans all-wheel drive swap stuff, but probably not. Probably not. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hope you like our back and forth, our dialogue, our stories on how Alex got into it and how I got into it. Of hoarding 3,000 GTs for ourselves and the parts.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry I bought them all, but I'm gonna keep buying them probably. I can't help it, dude. I got a problem.
Subframes. Where do those go?
There's a pile of them over there, I think. But yeah, see you later, guys. Take care, dude.
Have a good one.
See ya.